USPS said they about to run out of money, y'all. You really can't make this shit up. And the fact that they're openly doing this bullshit. So, David Steiner, of course, you remember, is the postmaster that WISP put into play. Basically, went before Congress and was just like, look, we're about to run out of money. He was like, because, we don't get no tax dollars. We need to bail out. He was like, with all our current obligations, i.e., like pensions, retirements and things, he was like, we're going to be out of money by October. What comes after October? Class. November. What have they been after all this time? Class. Mail-in ballots. Because remember, they were talking about, whether or not mail-in ballots were going to have any different provisions in regards to, how the mail was currently being handled. Because remember, they were just like, oh, you only get estimates now. There's no guarantee when the mail will be delivered. So they're like, if you're going to do the mail-in ballot, you need to do it as soon as you get it, because, there's no guarantee that if you do it late, that it'll get there on time, and they're not responsible for late ballot. Already setting the scene. It's just like, they're setting the scene for, oh, well, there was corruption in all these previous situations, especially with mail-in ballots and what have you.
What we see here, we see the USPS is running out of money, and that's a serious thing. A lot of people want to say it's a conspiracy thing. Oh, it's because of the voting coming up, the midterms, and all of that. The USPS has not made any money since 2006, even though they're not funded by tax dollars, but they do get loans through the federal government. Right now, they're capped at $15 billion. The postmaster is asking to move that cap to $30 to $40 billion. The reason why the USPS has lost a lot of money and has continued to lose money is because of pensions and retirement accounts. Think about it. You have people not working for you, but you still have to pay them. This is the reason why you see more and more companies getting away from pensions, because why am I paying for you? Even though you did a certain amount of years, why do I have to pay you for the rest of your life? Right? So now you're starting to see that pensions are a flawed thing to have, and it actually damages your company because you're still paying people even though they don't work there. Think about it. When they had pensions before, it was up to about people, the average life expectancy was 60 to 65, I believe. Now the average life expectancy is about 80 to 85. So imagine you have to pay somebody if they retire after 50 and you got to pay them another 30 years to do absolutely nothing. That's one of the main drivers to why the USPS is losing money. And also with these contracts with Amazon not being enough money, it's just a poorly ran business. What you're going to start seeing is that the USPS is going to go private. And when it goes private, what is it going to do? It's going to cut jobs, probably cut retirement accounts, give people a lump sum, because you need that business running lean to make money. The reason why that Amazon throwing these, terrible deals toward the USPS is because the USPS does not have any money to make. They don't have any money to do anything, so they're just taking deals. They're desperate. So this hasn't anything to do with, the mail-in ballots and stuff like that. I believe that anyway, mail-in ballots is stupid. You should go and vote because that makes it quicker, easier, and faster. But this all comes down to money. If you don't have money to run the business, what do these businesses do, especially USPS? They go to their big brother, which is America, to give them a bailout. So now who does that affect? Us as the taxpayers. The reason why we have President Trump there, he runs his country like a business. If it doesn't make money, sell it so it can get privatized, and then we'll use their services. If not, and then go from there. To be honest, a lot of people don't even use the mail like that. It's really more junk mail than anything. I would definitely say the boomers are the ones that's probably keeping the mail system alive, but we don't really need it. That's the thing you have to understand, that USPS is not really needed for how big it is, the routes that they have. I believe the postmaster was talking about it. Well, if we are having these routes that are not profitable, we are forced to do it because we're mandated to do it. But if it's a private company, what do? They cut the route. So USPS is constrained by the federal government because they're getting money from the federal government, and they're constrained because of the pensions. That's a huge deal. Paying people that don't work there anymore. That's a flawed thing. That's a flawed way of thinking. That's the reason why you see companies like Ford, and back in the day, they went to China because they were tired of paying pensions and retirement. I definitely feel like the retirement age should be pushed up. I think it's 60 or 64 or whatever, or 30 years for whatever company. I think it should be pushed up to 40, 45 years, or maybe none of that at all, because these companies don't want to pay for you when you're not working for them. that's a like a crazy thought that people feel like they should get paid just because they put a certain amount of years in with the company. That's just not that's just it's just obsolete now because these companies care about making money. They want to make money in order to continue to have their employees. So it's going to be one of those things now. You're going to see people getting these jobs and it won't be no pension. You just have to work to earn a check. And to be honest, I think that's the way that it needs to go.
They are doing everything possible but being good people. Because baby, if you were a good person and you had the public, because you're supposed to be a civil servant at heart, then you wouldn't have to do all of this. But the fact that y'all are trying to tell us that the USPS is about to run out of money before the end of this year, roughly about October, which is right before,
I thought it was October 2027, not 2026.
election time. You all must think we got Boo Boo the Fool tattooed across our damn forehead, because I know you fucking lying. And the fact that y'all done put this little inept man who is talking about, oh, I wasn't aware of all of this. Sir, you've been in this position long enough, and don't come, absolutely not. Absolutely not. We're not doing this. At what point do we start charging these people? Because this don't make no damn sense. Like, y'all already trying to set the scene to let us know that y'all about to cheat.
Well, they were cheating before. It's the mail-in voting system doesn't make any sense at all, right? They were holding votes. Think about it. You put your vote into a place where it's only for votes. What do you think people can do with that? They can take it and not send it in. So it's just one of those things that you have to look at this as a business aspect and stop looking at it as an emotional aspect. That's how I look at it. But it needs to go because at the end of the day, it costs taxpayers money because obviously they don't get their money as far as from tax dollars, but they get their loan money as tax dollars because it's coming from the federal government. They're trying to get an extra 30, I think $30 billion as a bailout. No, absolutely not. Sell it. Get rid of it. We don't need it. And then what you'll see is everything important will be digital, which it should be anyway. The USPS is an old school system that is not needed anymore. You have UPS, you have FedEx, you have Amazon. Those are better and more quality types of, you know, things to send, but USPS is very flawed and it's very old school and it just doesn't work anymore. So I don't know. I'm not into the big conspiracy theory. I just look at the money. If it's costing us money and we have to loan the USPS money every year and they haven't made money since 2006, are you supposed to keep that? No, you're supposed to get rid of it.
Y'all want to talk about fair and just elections. You want to talk about, the validity of elections and what have you, and you all are absolutely setting things up to cheat. You've got to be fucking kidding me right now. he said, look, now if they don't pay them obligations, baby, they can make it to about February next year. Which y'all, I swear America's not a real place. And anytime you got to go through all this to cheat, baby, hang it up. Hang it up. Folks is tired of y'all bullshit. Y'all not,
We got to get out of this victim mentality. We got to get out of this mentality of thinking that everybody's trying to cheat and go back to something simple, which is money. When you look at it as a money standpoint, if you look at it through money, if you own the business, would you keep a business that's losing you money every single year? No. You'll be more diligent about money. See, people talk and want to. Obviously, she's probably a Democrat or a liberal woman, which is expected from her conversation. But what we see is that we disregard the facts and we say, oh, they're cheating. Would you keep anything around you for 20 plus years that's not making you any money and you're losing money? The answer is no. So what do you expect the government to do? So that's the thing. Everybody expected the government. What you see a lot of these programs, state ran governments, federal ran governments, a lot of them are bad and losing money. So if they're losing money, what do we need to do? Cut the programs. We have to start running this country like a business. But then when you start running the country like a business to save you money as a taxpayer, now they're trying to cheat and now it's a scam. I'm lost. Sometimes people just don't need to talk about things because they look more at the emotion than looking at the money. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It's always going to keep this thing rocking. Appreciate everybody tuning into the No Filter Money Show Monday through Friday, 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'll see you there. Appreciate you guys, and I'm out.